Real quick question, show of hands. How many people out there in my audience would agree with the statement, having too much of anything results in chaos, confusion, and clutter? It doesn't necessarily matter whether you're talking about mentally, physically, or even socially. You can have way too many fair weather friends, and you've got to clear out those that just are not useful and supportive in your life, and you've got to have your close group that you know you can trust. Mentally, it's very easy to get caught up in way too many thoughts about way too many things, and you end up solving nothing. And of course, we know what the result is physically with items. How many of you have ever known a hoarder? Many years ago, I used to work in the moving industry, and once in a while, we would show up to houses that looked like this, and they gave us absolutely no warning. They said, well, a little bit of packing needs to be done, but I've got a few extra things, probably more than most, and this is what we would show up and deal with. And the only way that we could really deal with the folks is a trick that we learned, is when you had to know you were going to throw things away, you had to just bring rolls of trash bags and say that you were going to put them in the trash bags in order to keep them from getting wet in case it rained. And usually that would keep the hoarder somewhat calm, because if you told them you're going to throw stuff away, they would just lose it. So anyway, I let off with that because in today's video, we're going to talk about this in a survival situation, not necessarily specifically hoarding things, but the idea of chaos, confusion, and clutter being a problem. Real quick. One place where there is none of that is over at the Florida Monkey Patreon channel. It's only $1. There's a $5 level as well. And heads up for everyone who's over there. Next 48 hours, there's going to be dropping a brand new video. And we're going to be talking about this coming collapse in the next month or two that they're predicting. And how there are going to be certain tactics and techniques that you can use to not necessarily avoid the chaos, but adapt to it. It's going to be a trap to try to make your life a complete, orderly place while the world around you is in chaos. You can do it to some extent, but adapting to chaos until things calm down is going to be a much better strategy. Those of you who'd like to join us for that video, next 24 to 48 hours, it's only $1 a month. That's it. Even less if you sign up for a full year. It's like 90 cents per month. Fully refundable, and that's the key. No risk to you first 90 days. If it's not for you, you can get all 3 months, $3 back first 90 days. We can partner with Vimeo, and we can use images and talk about things in ways we can't talk about them here. And that's just the reality of it. So would love to have you over there. Also, August 22nd, we are going to be drawing two names for the last two known in existence Florida Monkey coffee mugs. One side says Masters of the Mind, the other side says Destroying the Illusion. That's going to be kind of the topic of today's video when we get to the main meat of it here in just about a minute. Everybody gets one name entry. It doesn't matter how much, you pledge over there, whether it's 1 or 5 or whatever. We're going to do things, very fairly. Everybody's going to have a shot. And, if it's something you want or don't want, you can just pass if you don't want the mugs. We have some of the older masks that we had from the 2020-21 nonsense, the COVID sniffles. But anyway, just wanted to give everyone a heads up that everyone who signs up for Monkey Patreon channel, 22nd of August, that's our anniversary, 12-year anniversary. We're going to be auctioning off those last 2 mugs. Now, use this image multiple times before. Many, many times. The series Colony that came out back in 16, 17, and 18 on USA is an absolute clinic on adaptation, survival adaptation to chaos. How to not necessarily thrive, but survive. How to make it through and how to keep your mind right. Could literally go through each episode, and it would be a teaching moment. There's so many things in there that little Easter eggs they've tucked in that were virtually exactly what they taught us in the military. I'll be very honest with you. I watch it over and over again because I still find things. The idea of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity is something that just a lot of folks can't wrap their head around. I have a plan. This is why it's going to work. And things are going to be this way and that way and the other way. Everything's going to change. One of the greatest comments that is made in that series, the way to control a democratic society isn't through fear, it's through distraction. And then what happens when you pull all the distractions away? And the internet goes down and the grocery stores are empty and you're no longer distracted with, well, what people use the internet for, and food and everything else. People start to kind of lose it. Now, I know this seems like a bit of a left turn, but we know who the author of confusion is. Those of you who are Christians, down in the comment section, please let everyone who's not a Christian or hasn't read the Bible know who the author of confusion is. This is very recent. Israel Heritage Foundation awards Trump Crown of Jerusalem. And that's key. Quote, this is from, it is clear that many in the Orthodox community are very supportive of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is very supportive of them. Representative Tim Burkett, this is an article by David Swindle and Menachem Wecker. Now, here is the crown that they awarded him. Now, you can count all the little bells around it, and they have a significance. But this is the crown of Jerusalem. This is August 22, 2019. Trump tweets about disloyal Jews, then tweets, he's king of Israel. This was all the way back in August 22 of 2019. This is just a few days ago. This is all the way back in August of 2019, quoting this guy named Wayne Allen Root for the very nice words, quote, President Trump is the greatest president for Jews and for Israel in the history of the world. Not just America. He is the best president for Israel in the history of the world. And the Jewish people in Israel love him. He's the king of Israel. They love him like he is the second coming of God, but American Jews don't know him or like him. They don't even know what they're doing or saying anymore. It makes no sense, but that's okay. If he keeps doing what he's doing, he's good for all Jews, all blacks, all gays, everyone. And importantly, he's good for everyone in America who wants a job. How many of you know what the inscription that hung above the cross of Jesus stood for? INRI. It's on license plates and bumper stickers and t-shirts all over this country, and most people do not know what that means. These are different letters that mean different things. Jesus, the I is actually the J. Nazareth, N, Nazarene. Rex, King. Once again, I being day. Judaeum. Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. So now we are here in 2023 with a world leader who called himself King of the Jews and now has been given the crown of Jerusalem. Now, here's the part that's going to blow your mind. This is a person that doesn't care only for himself, but cares for the entire world, especially for the people of Israel and for the Jews in America. Now, we're going to cover this in just a minute. That's going to make you scratch your head. I was talking with, commenting back and forth over on Instagram with somebody who was praising Mr. Trump for his visits with Kim Jong-un and how he can talk to dictators. And I'm like, you mean like Muhammadu Buhari, the Islamist dictator in Nigeria that he invited to the White House to sign agreements with, but he won't talk to Nicolas Maduro. I thought talking to dictators was a good idea. Now, there's something that Trump says here that would absolutely blow your mind. Well, one of these guys says, the only thing I can think of is that after seeing myriads of miracles, only 20% of the Jews left Egypt to follow Moses into the desert, he added. So I think the president's doing pretty well. Here it is. If he decided to give up this and go over to Israel, he would be elected prime minister very quickly, he added. The former president noted that he polls at 99% in Israel, but at only 26 or 28% among U.S. Jews. Quote, I should be at 100%, he said. Now, how could he be president of the Jews, king of the Jews, have 100% support of the Jews, but then also have the support of the rest of the world? Because what do we know about people and their opinions of Israel? There's an entire video here, 2023 Israel Heritage Foundation Gala, and you can watch this for yourself. This is all well known. Oh yeah, by the way, son-in-law? 5th Avenue, 666 5th Avenue? I listened to this. It's actually quite disturbing. This is another article talking about that. Now, you ready to have your mind blown? Here is the same Donald Trump shaking hands with a king. An actual king. He's crown prince, but he's going to be the king, as soon as his father dies very shortly, of Saudi Arabia. Most Americans have no clue. They think they live in tyranny now with Washington, D.C. And believe me, Washington, D.C., in my opinion, acts very tyrannical. But they don't even pretend to have elections in Saudi Arabia. Women still are, generally speaking, property. And for all of those of you, by the way, I just wanted to mention this, who think I have a bit of too liberal an issue with showing images of women in certain ways, the Saudis have a perfect solution for that. I love to get this word, especially from a lot of Christian women in my audience, giant air quotes there, Christian women in my audience, talking about the word modesty, how women are supposed to be modest. Well, you see, that's a very fungible word that can be interpreted many ways. So the Saudis are like, you know what? We're not even going to bother trying to figure out what is and isn't modest. If you're a woman and you're in public, you will be clothed and covered head to toe, only your eyes being covered. It's called a burqa. I think there's a lot of women in America that would love to see all women in burqas. Because you could make the argument that anything at any point in time that a man might find attractive would be immodest. What's the word? Oh, and then what's the ally? The allies of these Christian women, the guys. It's a stumbling block. Yes, that's right. Any woman who appears in public in any way that could possibly cause a man to feel some type of an attraction or a thing, that makes them a stumbling block. Oh, and forgot almost this last picture here of giant golden award being put over, bowing Trump in front of the king of Saudi Arabia. So I'm confused, Makia. Do you support? Do you support, or are you against?
I am the chosen one.
I'm sorry, what did he say there again? Let's listen closer.
Somebody had to do it. So I am the chosen one. I am the chosen one. I am the chosen one.
That's what I thought he said. That's interesting. That kind of alludes to something that Lucifer himself said. But, once again, the way to control a democratic society isn't through fear. It's through distraction. And I'm sure people will scroll past, and there's probably folks that have already stopped watching at this point, 14 minutes in. Having too much of anything, including power, results in chaos, confusion, and clutter. So if you walk away from a video like this, you're like, I don't know what to think. I'm confused. Some folks like to say that I'm that author of confusion. I'm just showing you the reality. When the reality confuses you, that's when you need to look deeper. I haven't shown anything that you can't find for yourself. And one of the really great undertones of the series Colony is that whether you're on the side of the protagonists or whether you're on the side of the antagonists or those who are making decision A versus decision B, you could make an argument for going either direction to be moral. And you can also say that if this happens, then that happens, then this bad other thing happens. You can make that for all arguments, and that's what chaos is really about. And believe me, after a long enough amount of time, those with weak minds, and this is probably, I shouldn't have saved this for the last, but if you're still here, that's what the enemy is going to use to get people to follow. A restoration to order. People are going to say, oh, I don't care who is in charge. I just want things to get back to normal. And if they can get everybody on the same sheet of music and no more back and forth and no more ambiguity, no more uncertainty, no more volatility, I just want things back the way they were. And that's actually what Jason Aldean just said in Cincinnati. I want this country back the way it was. I'd like for Jason Aldean to give me a year. Not to get too far off on a different point, but sign of a weak mind. So I will leave it there. Join us at Patreon. Would very much appreciate your support. It's only $1. There is a $5 level. There's a few videos over there. And like I said, next 24 to 48 hours, brand new video talking about adaptations to chaos and how to deal with it. There's really only one way. And it isn't going to be coming from a man. So I'll leave it there. God bless. Having too much of anything will result in chaos, confusion, and clutter. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.